and welcome to another booktube video from me, Lauren, from Lauren and the Books. How are you all? Getting autumnal, isn't it? Long sleeves on, autumnal. Today is my September book haul. So these are some books that I have that I have accumulated in either the month of September or towards the end of August. Actually, I've actually got a selection of books that are already available now, some that I've bought, some that have been sent from the publisher, and then I've got two books that aren't out yet, both of which pumped about. I will start with the books that are already out and two which I've bought. So these are both charity shop buys. I haven't bought any books in charity shops in bloody ages. When I was a student, that was where I got the majority of my books from charity shops. And there's a cancer research, very large shop near where we live, and I've got a few books in there before and popped in, and all of their paperbacks are £2 for £1. Which is unbelievable. And I've got two very exciting books, one of which I've read before but didn't have a copy and would like to reread, and the other one which I haven't read. The first one is Why Be Happy When You Could Be Normal by Jeanette Winterson. This is Jeanette Winterson's memoir of her life being brought up, and yeah, I've still got Oranges Are Not the Only Fruit, which I haven't read, but I really want to read some. The only Jeanette Winterson I've read, I haven't even finished it, is her Christmas Days book, which is a selection of short stories that you're to read around the Christmas period, interspersed with sort of like recipes and things like that. Very exciting book for me, as I'm sure you can imagine. But yeah, really want to read this, and looking forward to getting to that. And then the second book that I picked up for the princely sum of 50p was The Secret History by Donna Tartt. Now, as I said, I have read this before. I read this for my book club a few years ago, but I couldn't fully allow myself to enjoy it, because what I was doing when I was reading it thinking, oh god, no one else in book club's gonna like this, no one else in book club. We hadn't read anything literary in book club the whole time, and this come in after about 8 months, and I was just reading it thinking, oh god, everyone's going to hate this. So I would like to allow myself, because I remember being really into it in terms of the storyline and thinking I would be really enjoying reading this if this wasn't the purpose I was reading it for. So I'd love to give myself the opportunity to read this and enjoy it. Really enjoy Donna Tartt's writing. Donna Tartt's writing. The Goldfinch is one of my favourite books ever. Even though I just almost forgot the name of it. But yeah, so very excited to get to that as well. And then these are from the publisher. I've got two poetry collections, guys. Never did you think you'd see the day when not one but two poetry collections are being hauled. Both of which have been sent to me by Emma at Book Break. Thank you, Emma. The first one is She Is Fierce, which is a collection of poems by female authors, all brought together by Anna Sampson. It includes poems such as Maya Angelou, Carol Ann Duffy, one of my faves, Jackie Kay, Holly McNish, Helen Dunmore, Dorothy Parker, and yeah, just brought together in a very nice anthology of women's poetry. So I might spread myself out, maybe I don't know how many there are in here. Maybe I should have a look and see if I could maybe make this my 2019, like read a poem, however many there are to last me the year. That might be a nice idea. And you know I love a challenge. So that's the first poetry book. The next one is also by a female author, and it is Running Upon the Wires by Kate Tempest. This is a lovely, Kate Tempest I've read Hold Your Own, and I really enjoyed it. This is a standalone poetry collection about the time in between finishing one relationship and being sad and heartbroken by that, and then before starting a new relationship and being hopeful and excited about that. So it sounds like a really interesting concept, and a place that I have definitely been. So yeah, it says here that she when the heart is pulled both ways at once. So yeah, when I read that I was like, oh bloody hell, that sounds really good. So yeah, it's very small. I will probably sit down and just read that in one sitting, because I just want to get sort of immersed in it. Not sure when. Maybe Saturday. David's at a stag do on Saturday, and I might read it then, just treat myself to it in the morning. So that's that. Then I've got a selection of books that the wonderful, I love her, Tina sent me, as I was talking to her about, imagine this, Christmas books that I wanted to include in my Christmas gift guide. And she sent me a few. She actually contacted me about one of the books that I'm going to show you, and she sent me a few books. So I've got to have a look at some of these, and maybe some of these might appear in my Christmas gift guide. I am not sure. The first one is a book that I've already read, but not this edition. I'm flapping it around. It is Night Shift by Deborah Gliori. This is a picture book. This is a bigger, the one I've read before is sort of like a naked hardback, cloth bound hardback, but this is the picture book, which I believe is marketed more more at children that Deborah Gliory's done, where she uses dragons to represent depression. It's very powerful. It's very sort of like, it's got a really strong message, and throughout you're sort of like, you can feel the depression and the journey that Debbie's been on, and then at the end it's sort of got a hopeful message. But yeah, very the illustrations are done in black and white with sort of like flashes of red and stuff throughout, and they're amazing. She's the illustrator and the author. But yeah, so this is one that's out now. And then the two books that she contacted me in the first place are books that I haven't read, and to be fair, when she contacted me I was like, they sound so cute, but I know that David would love them, and I think he's potentially going to read them when we go on holiday. It's two, both of which I'd heard about but hadn't, no sorry, the first one I'd heard of, I didn't realise there was a second out, but they're the Wild Robot books by Peter Brown, and they're just so cute. Look at the illustrations on the front, and they're illustrated throughout as well, which is really lovely. So the first one is the Wild Robot, which follows Roz when she discovers that she's on a remote wild island and she has to survive. She adopts a gosling called, he's got a really cute name, what's his name? Bright Bill, and she just survives and thrives on this island, which is lovely. And then the second one is called The Wild Robot Escapes, where Roz has to go and work in the city as a normal robot, and all Roz wants is to find her way back to the island, but escape is not easy. So yeah, they sound really cute, and I just think David would, I feel like David would love these. But I also, I mean, I read the first couple of pages of both, and I feel like they remind me of how a book that I would have picked up from the school library or something, and not known anything about it, and then read it and thought, oh, this is really lovely. So yeah, so I will get to reading those soon, but I suspect David might want to get his hands on those first as well. Then I've got a book called The Red Ribbon, which is, this sounds fantastic. This is a YA book published by Hotkey Books, and I love the Hotkey book key that they do at the back. They have a little key and it tells you the 4 things that are included in this book. So here, Joyce's Despair, Love and Life, and this is about 14-year-old Ella, who begins her first day working at the prison camp in the sewing workshop, and it says here, every dress she makes could mean the difference between life and death. This room, this place is all about survival. And it's quoted here that it's the best YA novel about the Holocaust that he's read, that someone has read, and it's Robert Eagleston, who is the professor of contemporary literary and thought. But what I really like about this is that the author, her job, imagine this being a job. When Tina said this was her job, I was like, why did I not know about this as a job? I want to find the actual title of her job. She's a costume historian, so she looks at clothes throughout the ages. She's appeared on Women's Hour and things like that, and yeah, it just sounds very important, and like a look at the women during the Holocaust as well. So yes, I will be reading that shortly. And the next book I've got is a YA book that is translated fiction. This is also published by Hotkey Books, and it's written by Paola Peretti, and it's The Distance Between Me and the Cherry Tree. And this tells the story of Mafalda, who's a 9-year-old girl who is living her life in that she loves her cat, she loves football and school, but her sight is also failing. And the author herself, she suffers from Stargardt disease, which causes progressive vision loss and eventually blindness, and there's no cure to date. So yeah, it sounds like it's going to be super duper important. It's absolutely beautiful. Like it's got French flaps and just sounds amazing. And yeah, Jacqueline Wilson is quoted on the front here. It says, a simply told bittersweet story with a powerful poetic message. So yeah, it sounds like it's going to be very, very important. And then the last book I've got that's out at the moment is one that's just been sent to me by favour, and I've seen this appearing on a few people's booktube channels and on Instagram and stuff like that. It looks like it's going to be super fun. It's What Would Boudicca Do by E. Foley and B. Coates, and this is a collection of advice for women in the modern times, but told through historical female figures. So for example, Boudicca, although some people say Boudicca, don't they? Mary Wollstonecraft. It says here, Rosa Parks and Standing Up to Bullies, Emmeline Pankhurst and Getting Stuck In, Frida Kahlo and Finding Your Style, Ada Lovelace and Surviving a Broken Home, George Eliot and Not Being Hot, Agatha Christie and Getting Over Heartbreak. And it sounds like it's going to be really fun, and I'm looking forward to reading it. So yeah, the last two books I've got are two that are not out yet. The first one is out on the 8th of October, the 4th of October, and looks and is amazing. This is also published by Hotkey. It's Women in Battle by Martha Breen and Jenny Jordal, and it is a collection of it's a graphic novel about women fighting for rights all throughout history, from little postcard in there, from way back up until sort of really recently, as far as the Me Too movement, and I don't feel like I've read or seen anything that recent in terms of one of these books that collates a lot of women's history. And yeah, I just I read the intro. I haven't looked too far through it, but I've read the intro, the foreword, which just it just reiterated how important this was to me. But I really like the style and the fact that it's done in black and white with and each section has a different colour. So this is the red section, for example, then we've got orange, blue, and look, this is lovely. Free love. Like, this is the sort of thing I would just love on my wall. So yeah, that sounds, it's gonna be, yeah, really good. So I'm very much looking forward to this. And then the last book, which is probably the one I was most excited about when I got it in the post, is a book called 5 Days of Fog by Anna Freeman. This is a proof copy. This is out in November 2018. And Anna Freeman previously wrote The Fair Fight, which is a book that I've got out from the library and I've not read it, and I need to resolve that. But this sounds like it's going to be amazing. It's set in post-war London, and it's about a female gang. Now, it's based on a true story of the infamous 40 Elephants gang. This follows Florrie Palmer in 1952, when the Great Smog is happening in London, whether that she's going to stay with the Cutters, a gang of female criminals who've terrorised London for years and are led by her own mother, or leave it all behind to make a safer, duller life with the man she loves. And what will she do if she's too crooked to go straight and too good to go bad? Oh my god, it just sounds amazing. And yeah, I read the first sort of double page, and it sounds like it's going to be absolutely incredible. I've really been getting into my historical fiction recently, and I feel like this is a great way to do it. So great place to go next. So yeah, I'm going to be reading this really soon. So those are the books that I've so far got my hands on in the month of September. Would be very interested to hear if you are excited about any of these, if you have read any of these, and what books you have been buying recently and getting your hands on, either from the library, wherever you may get your books. I would be interested to hear what you've got going on, and I will see you all again soon for another booktube video. Goodbye!